Hey, it's Kevin Petersen. It's Family Matters, everybody.
What's up? What's up?
How are you? You safe in Florida?
Yeah, you know what? We were in the gun sites, and then this morning it shifted and went north. So completely bypassed us.
Really?
Yeah, that kind of happens a lot, to be honest with you. It's always like it's gonna go straight into Jacksonville, and we're like, sure. I mean, I hate to say that I've become definitely a Florida person, where it's like, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it.
Everyone just got outside and started blowing towards the north. I mean,
It just like hit land and just went up through Tallahassee and get to Georgia. You know, so what are you gonna do?
well, I hope everyone is all right. Instagram, Kevin W. Petersen, family coaching, free resources, chronichope.us. Go reach out if you want to be part of the Facebook group, all kinds of stuff. Kevin just is all over the internet. So anyway, so hopefully everyone made it out safe. If you're in Florida, Georgia, wherever it is, I kind of once I got out of the path or something, I stopped paying attention because it didn't have anything to do with me. So that's kind of how I do things. So
you just ran for it. You're like, you chickened out. And
if you want to grab my attention, just make sure it affects me. Then I'll pay attention. But
I understand, man. I understand. I totally get it. It's like,
Well, I'm glad I'm being brutally honest or something. Ready for the questions?
Oh, sure. Why not? Hit me, baby.
Oh, it sounds so excited.
Yeah.
How does an addict choose drugs over everything, Kevin? My husband of 10 years continues to use drugs despite having 2 young kids and me begging him to stop. It's an ongoing issue. Why, Kevin, do they choose drugs over everything else?
Well, okay. It's a great question. And I have massive amounts of empathy for this person, and I feel for them. And here's the thing. They're not choosing drugs over you. The drugs are choosing them, and the alcohol is choosing them. There's this concept or this idea of people that are not addicts or not alcoholics or not in recovery, that the addict or the alcoholic wakes up every morning and says, do I want to be a respectable member of society, a member of my family, go to work, pay my bills, be a good citizen? Or do I just want to get hammered and blow everybody off and cause all sorts of drama and chaos and crisis? That's not how it works. Every day when I was when I was drinking and using, I swear to God, I would wake up every day thinking, today I'm gonna get it together. I'm gonna get my act together. I'm gonna make things happen, and I'm gonna rock and roll. And I would probably do really well. And then as soon as I took that first drink or got a little high, bam, the wheels would come off. And it might come off for a couple of days after that. So that's the thing I would sort of want to educate this person and counsel this person and help them understand is that he's not choosing the drugs and the alcohol over you. The drugs and the alcohol are choosing him. That's why he needs to get sober, because when he can get sober, then we can deal with it. And that's the best answer I can give you.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard that. Trust me, I get it. I got that from my family. Like, why do you keep choosing this? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I wish I had a better answer, but I don't know, man. I don't, it's not like I wanted to. So,
well, it's when you're in active addiction yourself, like you don't even know the answer to that question. Yeah. Like you want to come up with answers because you get all kinds of questions like why, and you come up with all kinds of different things and reasons, excuses, justifications, whatever. But I didn't know. It was like, why? Looking back, why? So it says in a book somewhere that I love, we have lost the power of choice.
Yeah. Men and women drink because they like the effect produced by alcohol. I like being drunk. I like being high. And then when I have that first drink, I lose all the semblance of, okay, just one.
Yeah. Amen.
That's just not how it works.
My son has struggled with mental health issues and chooses to use marijuana instead of taking his prescribed medication. He's already been suspended the first week of school due to having a THC vape.
Yeah. So, oh man, I get it. I totally understand that. And I had my private practice opened in 2014 in Colorado. Like literally 2 months after they legalized, or 3 months after they legalized recreational marijuana. And that's what was happening, is people were like, oh, I'm not going to take medication. I'm going to get high, or I'm going to use marijuana to maintain my anxiety or my whatever. And the problem is, when you take medication from a psychiatrist or a doctor, I mean, unless you're taking like Xanax or something, it doesn't get you high. It levels off your chemical stuff, your biological stuff. Marijuana gets you high and keeps you there. And so that whole concept doesn't work for me. So what I would say to you is, especially since he's having consequences at school already, it's time to set some boundaries. It's time for you to read Chronic Hope, Parenting the Addicted Child, available on Amazon, Kindle, and Audible, and learn how to set boundaries with him and say, unfortunately, that's not going to work. And if we're paying for school, if you're living at home, here are the rules and regulations. If you can't follow them, then we're going to take it to the next level, and we're going to start looking for treatment. That's really the answer.
Well, yeah. And I mean, I think there was a surprise. I think there was a second paragraph as to, I think people need to, parents, I hope the word is getting out, but these vapes are not just innocent nicotine vapes or anything like that. So, I mean, there are THC vapes. There's all kinds of, and once again, this isn't your grandfather's weed anymore. This is highly, highly addictive, highly powerful THC, depending on what you're all getting on there. So.
And our friend Matt Brown put in a great comment. It's not pot anymore. It's been modified and cultivated to increase the THC levels far beyond what is natural. Don't confuse it for medicine. And that's the God's truth. I actually was just on an educational thing today with our friend Ben Court, and he was talking all about this and what the numbers look like. And the marijuana today, I mean, I haven't had anything for 32 years, but I'm telling you, the marijuana today is nitroglycerin compared to the light beer I was smoking in 1990. By the way, you're gonna love this.
Less calories, I'm sure too.
Well, my fraternity had a newsletter, and one of my buddies tagged me with a line. He's like, Kevin Petersen, living proof, light beer only tastes great.
There you go. There you go.
That was hilarious. I was like, oh, dude, you're killing me. That's awesome.
Tastes great, less filling. We love Matt Brown.
Oh, Matt Brown's the man. We had dinner with him Monday night. That was awesome.
Oh, this is my favorite of the week. Gold Star. Our youth pastor suggested our 16-year-old get on Suboxone and attend Bible study weekly. That was 9 months ago, and honestly, things have gotten worse behaviorally. Pastor says he's unable to give updates. It goes on to say, like, mom and dad want kind of updates, like, what are we doing here? And pastor is now kind of putting in what I always call the law and order kind of philosophy. What's said here, I want to keep it a safe zone. You understand as a licensed clinician, but it sounds, and I don't know the whole story. This is always, we don't know the whole story, but it sure sounds like this pastor's trying to say that, just he needs more God in him and stuff like that. And I joke, but this is also scaring me to high heaven too. So
this scares the bejesus out of me, on a number of different levels. One, this is not a licensed clinician. This is not someone who's skilled and educated in addiction. So, I mean, come on, man. You're way out of your depth here, way out of your league. Totally inappropriate. And let's be clear. Anytime I hear youth pastor, I'm like, okay. I mean, that story never ends well. All right. And look, I'm all for church. I think church is great. But the youth pastor says what's said here stays here. Oh, yeah, I don't think so. I've seen that story on the news. By the way, I think we should keep a scoreboard on the national or whatever, and I think we should keep a scoreboard of number of kids that are assaulted by teachers, cops, ministers, people of trust, and people that are assaulted by drag queens. And I think right now it's about 500 to 0. Sorry, I just had to. Okay, bad. I know I'm gonna get kicked off.
Well, we had a good run on the Family Matters show. I mean, like abruptly, if we're allowed to come back next week, we were certainly excited. But hey, this does scare me, though.
Right. Okay. So he does not enjoy the clinical privilege of not. So that's not okay. Number one, it's not appropriate for him to be. Oh, here comes Matt. He's going to come at me. That's not appropriate. And I want to be super duper clear. It's getting worse because. So here's the story I'll tell you. When I was living in Denver and going to church, I'm Presbyterian and I'm very big fan of my faith. The guy who was the leader of my church, and I went to an AA meeting in the church. That's how I found it. He's like, Kevin, it's not my job to keep you sober. I know I can't do that. What's so? And I don't need, I'm trying to get you canceled. Thanks, Matt. Thanks. I'm not going to get canceled. That's the right wing that's going to come after me, not the cancel people.
Don't lay that gauntlet down.
I know. Anyway, my pastor said, it's not my job to keep you sober. That's AA's job. My job is to help you expand your spiritual understanding. And I agree with that entirely. So that's where I would go with that, is that that's not his job. If he needs professional help with his addiction, especially if he's taking Suboxone.
And this is a legitimate question because I don't know. I mean, and I could be way out of bounds here, and it's good for me to learn some things. But what are we talking? 16-year-old on Suboxone. Is this not too? This is too early, isn't it?
Well, I mean, if he was using heroin, it wouldn't be too early. But
okay.
I'm a little concerned. Someone who needs Suboxone to stop using drugs needs to go to treatment, not go to Bible study. Bible study is not going to solve that. Church is not going to keep you sober. A 12-step program is going to help you get sober, but church has a place. It's all part of the package. But you don't go to 12-step to find church. You go to 12-step to get sober, and then you expand from there. So. Have I recovered enough? Have I backpedaled enough?
Well, I think I think a lot of people turn to church, which is understandable. I have really good friends here that have gotten more active in churches and stuff. They certainly don't use that, and they use a kind of a Bible study. I don't know what they call it. I think they call it home group or something, where they have kind of a small group. They meet weekly within the church, but again, they will tell you that's just part of their recovery. It's not their only recovery. It just seems as if this pastor is kind of shutting every other door down, and this is the only way to do it. And again, we could be dead wrong, but I got really uncertain when the pastor's like, no, unfortunately, I can't share. He's 16 years old, and you could have the best motives. I'm not saying there's bad motives, but like there should not be where like, I wish I could tell you, mom and dad, this is where we step in. There's previous drug abuse. So I think that's what led to the Suboxone, but there's just a lot of exclamation points in this email for me. So
yeah, me too. There's just a lot of stuff there where I'm like, no, and no, and that's. And I'll also tell you, in 32 years of being engaged in 12-step recovery, and I'm not making this up, almost every single person I know that said, I'm not going to do this anymore, I'm going to go to church, has ended up drinking again. I'm just telling you my experience, and it's not church's fault. Let's be clear. It's not church's fault. I love church. Church is great. But
well, I think we can tie in the previous question. I mean, like we talked about, we've lost the power of choice, and we're not choosing to screw up our life on a daily basis. And, in church, I don't think meeting a Bible study, there just seems to be a higher level of something needed. Like sitting down for a weekly Bible study could be good for the soul, but it has nothing to do with the loss of the power of choice. And God, no matter how strong your faith is, there's got to be some other things associated with the Bible study because addiction is legitimate. So, that's my unlicensed point of view. So,
I agree with your opinion.
This is the one I always get. So we use an app to track both our sons, 19 and 17. Lately, the stories aren't lining up with where I know my 17-year-old is going. I think it's Life 360 or something. There's all kinds of, I suggested both our sons need to do drug testing weekly, got pushed back. So the 17-year-old, it sounds like, is the one pushing back, is saying basically like, hey, you already tracked me. We're not doing drug tests. I mean, this is kind of sounds like 17-year-old kind of running the show here.
Oh, I mean, that's why I was like, hi, this is
no.
So I'm gonna deconstruct this. We're gonna start with the end. You don't need to track them. That's not necessary. You don't need to manage them like that. What you need to do is set boundaries, simple and straight boundaries. No drugs, no alcohol. We're going to do weekly drug testing no matter what. I don't care. Pushback. You're 17. I'm not taking the test. Oh, okay. So you don't want to use the phone, the internet, or the car is what I'm hearing you say. Let me know when you want those things. The drug test facility is right here. Got to go to school. Got to go to class. Got to turn in your homework. Got to get good grades. Got to. Oh, you don't want to do those things? Great. The phone, the internet, and the car will be over here waiting for you when you do. And, disruptive of the family. Oh, okay, cool. Knock yourself out. When you want to start behaving like a family member, let me know. And we'll be happy to restore all your privileges. Be the parents. Be parents. And the 19-year-old, I don't care that he's over 18. You still have that same, level of ability. You don't need to track their phones. What you need to do is start enforcing the boundaries. There are only 3 categories: drugs and alcohol, school and work, behavior at home. If you start layering that in and start doing it on a regular basis, I guarantee you this stuff will not be a problem. Or if they push back, or you're finding out that they are actively using drugs and alcohol, then we go to a higher level of care. Then we make a move. That's it. I mean, that really is it. It's not about managing. You don't need a drone flying over them. Just they're here, they're here, they're here. You don't need that. That's. I always tell the families I work with, you are now officially out of the addict management business. You know why? Because it didn't work. You're fired.
Yeah. And I mean, it's kind of an addiction in itself. The families I talk to with this, I mean, it's just in mere mentioning. Well, 2 nights ago, I saw that he went down to here, and then he went over here, and then yesterday morning, so that just tells me that they're basically glued to where everything is, which in itself was kind of like my mom having every single form of communication under her pillow, waiting for me to call. I think the apps weren't around when I was, I probably would have had an app and a tracker on my car, God knows, because my mom thought, but anyway, I mean, this is just another level of, like, I can only imagine mom or dad or anyone just staring at this. Oh, I know where he's at 7-Eleven, it's unhealthy.
And then the dynamic of trying to catch them in a lie. Oh my God, stop doing that. Just stop. I don't care where you are. All I care is that you pass your drug test, you go to school or you go to work, and you behave like a citizen. You got to get rid of that position as the parent of being the gotcha. I gotcha. Oh my God. I mean, I've had managers or bosses like that where I'm like, I got to get out of here. I don't need to be treated like this. And so all you got to do as the parent is just start saying, here are the rules, and then enforce the rules. and make it clear that this is what we're doing and this is how we're doing it. So
do you think that there's a level of kind of, and I'm going with blanket kind of statements but in general, like nowadays we'll let technology kind of parent and just check up on them instead of just true parenting, healthy boundaries, healthy communication, being authentic. It's almost like you said gotcha. Like I think we kind of, it hit to my soul that maybe we're in this I got you parenting phase.
yeah, no, I think that definitely is a huge reality of this situation where, and again, like I talked to a set of parents earlier today, and I was just like, this is, I'm not condemning you. It's not your fault. Your kid's struggling. So let's figure out a way to help them get better, not a way to punish them, and I mean, is it parenting today, or is it, I'm going to get in trouble now. Is it our society today? And we don't want to help people solve their problems. We want to shame them and punish them and belittle them, and it's like, oh, for God's sake, let's help this guy turn it around and get his act together. Look at you and me and our friend Matt, 3 total delinquents. I mean,
hey, whoa,
off the chart knuckleheads, and we're all, tax-paying citizens today. There's Matt. What are you talking about? Speak for yourself, pal.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, Kevin, hey, I did pay taxes the last couple of years, so I'll go along with this. But no, it's welcome to the world of technology. I think it is society in general. I mean, I think it just leads to life on social media and all that. But I mean, it's I'm not giving Matt Brown any.
I know.
But no, it's serious. I mean, I think I've always had in the back of my mind, but I'll be willing to bet, like, I would say the 90%, if I go back a year or two, of all the families that I've dealt with, early, young adult kind of families, there always is a tracking portion to it. And yeah. I think you're exactly right. And when you really get to know this family, and I'm not saying right or wrong or indifferent, but there is lack of communication, there's lack of really boundaries and everything. And they're going all according to this tracking, waiting for them to catch.
Right. And that's all about a gotcha. I think the idea is really to say, look, do what you want, but understand that, there's consequences for your actions, and when you start treating people, kids, anybody with that level of integrity and dignity, they respond to it. They're like, oh, okay. So you're not gonna chase me down. You're not gonna have a drone following me around. You're not gonna. No, man, I don't have time for that. But you got to pass your drug test, and you got to pass the breathalyzer, and you got to go to school. And I'm going to check on your grades every week, and we're going to have a family meeting every week. And if you ain't doing this stuff, then we're going to have to talk about what's next. Yeah. Simple and straightforward. I love you. I don't hate you. I'm not out to get you. I'm here to help you. But that's what it really comes down to. Yeah.
And one of the best stories was, I don't know if I ever shared this, but I was working, there's a mom and dad that call me frequently that I have that, anyway, I wouldn't call them clients or anything, but they were convinced that their son, who just got a treatment, was going and scoring drugs at this place. They're like, Jay, he goes there every night. I mean, he's just hanging out. He hangs out there for 2-3 hours a night. And so finally I was just like, oh, I'm going to run this by. And turns out he was going there for like 3 weeks straight as he was making his mom a Mother's Day gift, like woodworking. He was going, and we laugh about it, but this is how quickly, it's not always a got you. Like there could be legitimate, oh, this guy's going he must be getting, this guy was working on a Mother's Day, wanted to surprise mom, and turns out like, boom, he's getting accused of going and scoring God knows what. But
Yeah.
It goes back to authentic communication, boundaries, communication, trust, all the things that we talk about, though.
Yeah, you just, as a parent, you just want to be able to, instill the, look, I love you, but I'm going to hold you accountable. And that's what love is, as a parent. Love is like, look, man, I want to teach you how to solve your problem. I'm not going to solve your problems for you. That's you need to learn how to do that yourself. But I'm also going to be here to support you in that process. So, yeah.
Well, I would love to say I'll see you next week. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get, asked to leave, but I will say this: like, I think I'm clean, so I think I'll be welcome back next week. We'll see if Kevin is. If Kevin can't make it, maybe he's suspended for a couple of weeks. We may bring our friend Matt Brown and then get completely shut down. So we do this every Wednesday. We like to have fun, and to me, humor. I wasn't laughing. I just went over this with the family. I wasn't laughing at all in addiction. I think creativity and humor are the two strongest things I learned in recovery, and they're really strengths. And so it's not making fun of. So like we say this every week. I mean, this is legitimate. We're concerned, but we also have a little fun. I hope you guys can laugh along with us, but understand what Kevin's saying. It comes down to clear boundaries, communication, and so forth, and trust. So
yep, that's what it comes down to.
Is this another Matt Brown? Okay. He never behaves. So we'll do this again next week. It may or may not be Kevin Petersen. We'll get a stand.
We'll find out. We'll find out.
But I'll go to bat. I'll go to court if I have to. I got Kevin's back no matter what. So I will see you, Kevin.
Bye.